Alright, ni wakati mwingine tunapata kuangalia magazeti. Hii ni in the headlines. Hashtag ni Good Morning Kenya. At KBC Channel 1, at Victor Oloo, at Regina Manyara, Jain Wambui na Doreen. Hashtag still is Good Morning Kenya. We now get started with In the Headlines. A quick look at what the papers have for us today. The front page of the Daily Nation is quite busy today. So many stories have been featured here on the front page, and let me just run you through them. We start with the main read concerning politics, of course, with Uhuru, with the caption reading, Uhuru corners Oka chiefs to back Raila. This is information that has been disclosed by members who were present in this meeting, saying that they are inching closer and closer to coming to an agreement. And there are suggestions that President Uhuru Kenyatta is sort of convincing the Oka principals to disband the Oka alliance and support Raila Odinga for the 2022 presidency. But then again, they have reservations as they do not know really where they're going to be positioned. And now they are just waiting for the BBI ruling to be able to determine a way forward for them. Now, moving to the other story is in regards to COVID-19, where now Kenyans will have to pay more for oxygen because the cost of filling an 8.5 cubic meter cylinder has tripled from 2,000 Kenya shillings to 6,500 Kenya shillings, and this is in the event that you actually have a cylinder. And as it stands in the ICU, a patient needs at least 3 cylinders in a day. So if you have a cylinder, that will be about 6,500 to refill it. But if you don't have a cylinder, it will range from the previous 30,000 to 50,000 per cylinder. So we are talking about situations where patients will be using up to 150,000 Kenya shillings for those who do not have cylinders just on oxygen a day. That is where we are when it comes to the crisis involving COVID-19. Now, the other story is in regards to win for men as MPs back bill on 50-50 child care. Now, I will be very particular to look at this story because when it comes to child care and financial obligations where parents are involved for a child, there's always been a lot of back and forth given what the law says and given what we see in reality. That is, and one final story is in regards to the high rate of suicide among children. It is estimated to be about all the suicide cases in Kenya, 17% involves children under the age of 18. We'll be looking at those details in a bit. Vic.
Well, that's a worrying trend there, having in mind that, at the age of 18, underage, that's how they call them, before you reach the age of 18, you're considered a child. And they copy a lot from the adults. And I think this is attributed to the number of adults committing suicide because they do the unthinkable. The media highlights all this, and the kids watch during maybe primetime news, they read on newspapers, on social media, and they think that that is the best way to solve a crisis.
And actually, Victor, one of the reasons that have been highlighted in this story is what we are allowing our children to watch. Horror movies and movies that have violence have actually been featured here as one of the contributors to suicide among children, and especially those between the age gap of 9 and 14.
And I think we have to be, the current generation must be taught the correct way of living, and we have to be deliberate on how to rescue that future generation. Okay. On the front page of the Star newspaper here, Raila Mudavadi Kalonzo deal on verge of success. Odinga and Musalia on Sunday night met to break the ice. Uhuru yesterday held decisive 2022 talks with the joint team in Mombasa again. That is Raila Mudavadi Kalonzo deal on verge of success. While Odinga and Musalia on Sunday night met to break the ice, Uhuru yesterday held decisive 2022 power talks with the joint team in Mombasa again. That is what's making on the front page of the Star newspaper here. And cream of KCSE to study medicine and engineering. The top students in the 2020 KCSE exam, that is Simiyu, Robin Wanjala will join the University of Nairobi to pursue Bachelors of Medicine and Surgery. An analysis by the Star revealed that all the top 15 performers will pursue medicine and engineering courses. Now that is something quite commendable there. Still on the front page of the Star newspaper, UDA primaries will be free and fair according to Dr. William Ruto, the Deputy President. All right, something to as a warning shot to hospitals. Hospitals could pay 2 million shillings for detaining bodies. Now, public and private hospitals that detain bodies over non-payment of medical bills could soon be compelled to pay 2 million shillings fine or have their owners jailed for 1 year. In the same vein, private and public hospitals that demand advance payment before admitting a patient could be compelled to pay 3 million shillings fine or their owners jailed for 2 years. Now, the proposal are contained in the Health Amendment Bill 2021 that has been approved by the National Assembly's Health Committee. The bill seeks to boost access to health care and end suffering of families who cannot bury their loved ones over hospital bill. And ladies, just to ask you, it's not something new that we've had cases of people saying that mtu wangu alikufa, daktari akiona I didn't have the money, I told them just to admit somebody to go on oxygen for surgery, and you know, they just say give us a down payment of probably 50,000 shillings or so, and a person just dies like that. What do you make of this? Starting with you, Doreen.
I really think that we need to perhaps take life, because life is so precious.
Yeah.
My perspective is that life is so precious, and we keep hearing cases of this over and over again, that the doctor just said I should bring this, perhaps I just had this and they could not attend to my kin or my person because I couldn't bring enough. Sometimes can it just be a conversation?
Yeah.
Can it, because sometimes clearly mtu amejaribu vile tu anaweza. Yes, we understand that this is business and perhaps this is actually how things are supposed to be done, but sometimes can it just be a conversation?
Yeah. Regina.
You know, it has taken me back around 6 years back, and I was in a situation. Let's say
right. First-hand experience.
Yes,
yeah.
I was in a situation, and literally I was dying, if I can say that, because I had lost 8 pints of blood in 2 hours, and I really appreciate the speed in which the hospital responded. You see, when you've lost blood, a majority of times you're told for you to get a blood transfusion you have to bring your kin or someone to actually donate the blood. But when this lady walked into my room, I didn't know I had been I felt I was going cold, but I didn't know what the problem was.
Yeah.
So my parent was there and they noticed the pool of blood and this hit the emergency button. And when actually it was a mission hospital, and when the sister in charge came, and so I don't know what they saw, because I've never asked. They just said, go get her blood. And nothing was asked of me or my family. And I go back to, and today I have a healthy respect for mission hospitals, because there's something humane about mission hospitals.
Yeah.
When you look at private hospitals, a majority of them, it's about business, profits. But very few lack that interpersonal, actually have that interpersonal relationship, that life is precious. And I like what you're saying, Doreen. We need to recalibrate what life is. These days, even the reason why people don't assist other people when in an accident is because even rushing this person you have met or you want to save, by the time you rush them to hospital, you get to hospital, the hospital wants you to take responsibility for this person you're trying to rescue. They start asking you what happened, you need to make a down payment of XYZ. You actually carry the burden of trying to save a life. My question now would be, Victor, what is NHIF in this country doing? Because when you talk about social security, this is what should be working for each and every Kenyan. And we have had this conversation over and over again, that emergency medical attention should be given to everybody, at that point of need without asking for money. But situation on ground demands cash. Now let's talk about those bodies that are detained in hospitals over huge bills. Right? Someone has lost a loved one, but they cannot bury them. They cannot get closure because they have pending bills.
Yes,
and the hospitals, there was even a case that where a family went over to sue. They sued because they sued the hospital. Why? Because they had said, we have this amount of money.
It has happened several times.
I can give you my car. I can give you my land title. Just release the body to me. I will be paying in installments. This person is already dead. I have lost someone, but I am willing to pay for the services that were rendered. And the hospital was inhuman enough. They did not want to listen. It became a legal matter now.
You know, Regina, as you speak that way, I'm trying to remember what we were even talking about yesterday when we talked about the police and the police brutality. Now, when you come to the medics side and that perspective, yes, you understand that actually at the end of the day, it's still business. But when we talked about that issue of passion versus career, is this really what you really wanted to do as a person? Is your heart in this thing that you're doing? Or is it just, you know, I went to school, I went to high school, I went to campus, I did medicine, so I'm a doctor, or I'm this, so this actually is a career. There's no that human perspective, because given the examples that you're trying to give, if someone just wants to give a title deed or their card, this clearly is someone who's willing to pay, but at that point they quite don't have the resources, so they really are so much willing to pay to get their kin, or they're willing to pay in whatever form, you know, just to get that treatment. So if I'm a doctor, why can't I just listen to that or hear that person? Because honestly, they really want to do it. Why does it have to be a push and pull back at the end of the day and someone just dies? Because we've been pushing and pulling and not trying to get to an amicable understanding. Is it really passion, or, you know, I'm just here being in career to get money at the end of the day and that's it?
Have you heard of this phrase? They say that it was a matter of life and death. And when it comes to that point of a matter of life and death, there's just a very thin line, and they know everybody wants to live. All right, maybe it was your intention to die. Nobody wishes to die. All right, so when it gets to that point, it becomes a matter of life and death. That is a situation where it's crazy. I don't know. Jen is so quiet. Jen, you.
I actually agree with Regina when you. This is from also personal experience looking at mission hospitals and private hospitals. There's also, this is just something else that just crossed my mind, you know, just back during my pregnancy, even when you went for the checkups, you find that the older doctors are much more thorough as opposed to the younger ones. And particularly so in mission hospitals. I got the opportunity to visit 3 different hospitals, and I can tell you for a fact, mission hospitals prioritize life. Prioritize life, and even the cost implication is not as high.
That can be.
And you know, especially when you are during childbirth. That is literally walking that thin line between life and death. It can go from holding your baby to never being able to breastfeed your child. You can walk out of that hospital and the next morning you collapse and die.
I think
but all that starts with the service that you get,
the mission and the vision.
From whatever institution you go to. But trust me, if you get to experience different hospitals, their different backgrounds, their different visions and missions, trust me, it will play out in the services that they offer.
Wow, I think this bill is quite timely, having in mind that Jane and Regina, all of you have first-hand experience, and you're speaking directly to the national broadcaster, to the world. So I think this bill is touching on so many lives, as it has on Regina and Jane here. And now the bill has been proposed by Moranga's Women Representative Sabina Chege. Okay, so let me just finish this on a sad note as well. 10 victims of deadly bootleg liquor mourned in Nakuru. Now the leaders, families, clerics call for zero tolerance, denounce laxity by authority. That is 10 people who died after drinking toxic liquor were mourned on Wednesday in Hodi village amidst calls for a relentless crackdown on illicit brew. That is what happened when these people succumbed to that liquor on August 10th.
When we can learn? Just the other day we lost a mother who was 7 months pregnant because of illicit liquor.
Yeah.
Hey. Anyway,
all right.
Allow me to bring you to another bill. And this is a proposed law that stipulates that no parent has superior claim over a child or children involved in the event of separation, more so. So it is a win for men as lawmakers back this bill on 50-50 childcare. Let's get to the details. So members of parliament have backed a bill, and this bill was presented by Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma, which seeks to have the rights of children applied uniformly, whether the parents are married or not, by aligning the principal law with Article 53 of the Constitution. So as it is, it disadvantages men when in the event of a separation or divorce. But now the National Assembly's Committee on Labor and Social Welfare in this report have backed the Children Amendment Bill of 2020. So currently the law is not uniform, and it applies differently to children whose parents are married and for those whose parents are single. So they are seeking to amend the part that provides that where the child's father and mother are not married to each other, the mother shall have parental responsibility at the first instance. And as per the law is, if you can prove that the mother is not capable or able to take care of that child, then the parental responsibilities go to the father. So the House is seeking to adopt its report so that all parents can have equal responsibility, and the bill provides that neither the father nor the mother of a child shall have a superior right or claim against the other when it comes to the exercise of responsibility. This is both parental rights and also when it comes to the upkeep of this child. Now, it also goes on to state, in a situation where separation has happened or divorce, one of the parents through a DNA test can confirm that the child does not belong to them, they may cease taking up parental responsibility for this child. And after divorce, the court should stipulate a cash amount a parent needs in order to pay the parent who is the primary caregiver of the child.
That will bring a lot of debate. That will bring a lot of debate.
But Victor, I'm okay with that.
Sorry?
I'm okay with the 50-50.
Yeah.
I totally agree with the 50-50.
And this involves caregiving and financial support. And you know, caregiving boils emotional, psychological, presence, all that, down to giving them a bath.
I think that's okay. In terms of look at this situation where both parents are present in the bringing of a child. I mean, financial might be a bit, bringing up a child needs a lot of tender care. You have to be very careful. So long as both parents are there.
Let me tell you, Vic, even if both parents are there, it's never been 50-50.
Exactly.
Whether they are married or even living together, cohabiting, and there's a child involved, it has never been 50-50. There's always one parent who gives more than the other in one capacity or the other. So should this bill be adopted, do you really understand what 50-50 means?
Let me try and help Victor understand. Let me come through there. 50-50, let's give an example. In a normal setup, Victor,
yes,
you will be required to sit down and do homework with your child. You will be required to go for those school parent meetings, PTAs. You'll be required when your child has a scrape on their knee or a graze. You be required to take actual care of her or him. And when the baby is running a fever, where you tell your madam, or you leave your madam nursing the baby, you will be doing that too. Yes. Even going to church and drives and such, you will be required to do that, because 50-50 has to cut across. It's not just about finances. It's not just about finances, but also you being there and doing your part. Because let's be very honest, Jane, and I like where you're coming from and what you're saying. Even in a normal setup where the parents are in one home, one house, amicable, you'll find one partner is more of a daunting figure than the other.
More involved.
And you will find it is the mother who deals with even the relationship. When your baby is having a relationship, you'll find the mother knows, by the way, at you a boyfriend, ama the boy, at you have a girlfriend, tell me. The father has no clue. You know, when it comes even to setting the pace about, values and such, it is the job of the mother. Well, you may say that this is nurturing, the mother is nurturing, but now with this bill actually passes, people need to understand that it goes beyond the money issue. And because I think men are quick. Men are quick to try and cut their responsibilities when it comes to the finances. But what they do not see is that if this goes 50-50, we will be doing the finances and you will be present. And you will be present. That's the other thing. You will be present.
There's personally, I think there's some families who are just doing pretty well.
There's some.
Some are doing pretty well. But this bill is specific on people who are playing that hardball in any marriage. Unapata mepotea tu, like, what are you talking about?
And that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Even in normal situations, it's never been 50-50. And the normal situation is where both mother and father live together with the children in the same space.
But
right?
It also depends on the attitude that all of you, the foundation again, if all of you just decided this is it, you sat down and decided and agreed that we are going to start a family. I mean, you just have, parenting is a full-time job. There is no day you'll have a leave.
And Victor,
I feel like giving a disclaimer.
Just a minute, Ray. Rightfully so, as a mother, it is in your nature to take care of those children.
Yeah.
As a father, it cannot be the same. Biologically speaking, not to disadvantage men in this particular case, but they're just those things that a man cannot do for a child. That a mother is the only one that can do. Okay? And those are not things that are being factored in this particular bill, because the drive behind this, from where I stand, is the financial responsibility that is usually placed on the man. But let me tell you, utanunua diaper. Now useme you have provided for that child. Atajivalisha your diaper. Haizi jivalisha your diaper. And that is why I'm telling you, it can never be 50-50. Just because you say, me, I provide for my kid. I buy diaper, I buy food, I buy wipes, I buy clothes. Well and good. That's one part of the equation. All right? That's why I'm saying 50-50 is never going to be a reality.
How will you measure? It will be so
And that's what I'm
tricky.
telling you. You cannot measure some of these things. Victor. You cannot measure. Leon, I took care of Alpha 62.2%. The remaining, what's the math? 37.5 is up to you to fulfill the equivalent 100%.
Okay, all right, okay.
These are not things that you can measure.
Okay.
Victor, there's someone who is watching us, though they're not saying where they're watching from. You also share a name. He goes by the name Victor Wambui, who says that I need to say hi to you in particular. Why? I don't know, but I've passed on that information.
Me in particular?
Yes, Sama Salimia Victor Oloo. You're the only Victor Oloo in this 4x4 challenge team there. And Victor, you said, when you decide to have children, let's be very honest, people don't sit down and have this conversation. A majority are oops babies, or like, oh my God,
pregnant.
We actually do not make conscious decisions to have children.
There are those that do.
There are those that do, but a majority don't, especially where firstborns are concerned. No offense, I'm a firstborn, but we all know we happen to be like, oops, it may happen. Then after that, you make conscious decisions. But yes, people need to sit down and, have these conversations. Because, all right, now allow me to bring the other aspect in this, and I want to start with you, Vic, to just hear from a man's
standing.
Yeah.
The other part, it states that in a situation where one of the parents, through a DNA test, has confirmed that the child does not belong to them, they may cease taking up parental responsibility. And I want to hear this from both a logical and emotional point of standing. Now, you have chosen to be involved in the life of this child, consciously knowing that they are not your biological child. But in the event of separation, the law, if it's to be adopted, it gives you the right to cease taking care of this child post-separation.
Yeah.
Debate.
All right. Well, I may be right or wrong in this, but then now it depends with the kind of relationship that the man is foreseeing with the lady. All
And
right?
mind you, you have built a relationship with the child as well.
Exactly. When, first of all, it has to start with the mother, because you cannot love the child before loving the mother. So if you're deliberate on having a relationship with the mother of the child, then it has to trickle down to the child as well. That is one. Two, if you decide and say you cannot sire somebody's child, then the law will provide you that leeway to step aside if you so wish. All right. Number three, if at all you would want to have a relationship with all of them, then you also have that leeway to do so. But then you have to be post-separation. If you want to provide, then what are you going to provide? On what grounds? There are some people who will say, Mimi, it's over, and then it's over like that. So it has to be deliberate. I mean,
it boils back to your moral standing as an individual.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very hard decision for someone just to make like that. But once you make that decision that this is what I'm going to do, you have to love the mother, you have to love the child, be there, support, and remember to provide. Simple.
Well, I think it still just boils down to conversations. Most of these things that happen in relationships, marriages, that's why even just from the first, cassette of that conversation, I was just trying to think to myself, why does it have to take a bill just to make this kind of provisions? I mean,
that's a very good question, Doreen.
I mean, because by the time you're coming into relationship, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it really just has to be about conversations. It really doesn't have to take a law per se. I know now the law is there because of the way we're trying to say, kuna tu wale watu wenye tu, lazima tu, something has to be there like to force or push them, but it just has to be from you. You have this conversation with this person. Is this what you really want? Do you even want to be in this relationship? Do you want to do ABC? And if you don't, then just do you. Live your life. Do you want to have kids? How many kids do you want to have? At what point in life do you want to have kids?
It's are
you willing chill? Are you willing to like even perhaps pause a bit on your career? Maybe not like pause completely, but maybe take more time being a mom or more time being a dad. Is this what is in your mind? If not, then don't even do that thing. I mean, because where does it have to be when you have 2 or 3 kids? Then I realize, wait, I actually provide more than this person. Why didn't we ever talk about these things? I really don't understand why we have to get to a point where we're having bills to force people to be parents enough.
Doreen,
as a mother, it can never be 50-50.
Doreen is woke and lit this morning.
It can never be 50-50.
I wish I was woke at the age of 24. Yes.
Did you just say my age on national TV?
But was woke like the way you're woke right now?
Let me ask you something, Regina.
Ngoja, before you ask me.
No, it's just a very simple question.
Does it have to do with when my birthday is around, you know?
No.
It's not about your age, just chill, because you just did say mine.
This is just so simple. Doreen has just asked a very good question, that why this bill being brought at this particular point. Let me ask this question now. By the time unakatia dem, let me use that word. You go for coffee, you go for outing, you give your ultimate best.
When I test the waters,
you test the waters. The lady will always also give her best side of the story. You're always there, just to cement that relationship, and sometimes it can go for a very long time. We all know this. You know, I pursued this lady for like 6-7 months, even a year or 2. Kitambo aingie box, that's what we say, the normal language they use. Aliingia box maze, lakini alinisumbua. But then it all goes back to a conversation. You pursued her. The question is, now, before you start having a family, why don't you have the same conversation? How are we going to support our family? The number of kids we are going to have? Where are we going to live? The schools? Which church are we going to? If I'm coming from this church to the next church, are you a Catholic? Are you SDA? Are you AIC? How are we going to bring this family together? What are some of the values? Are we going to live with our family members?
Are you even willing to have kids in the first place?
Boundaries,
boundaries.
family boundaries.
At what point you're working on the other side corner of the country, I'm working. How are we going to meet somewhere? It has to be a conversation. That's what we are always being told in church. Guidance and counseling. Even our parents tell us, hey, Maze,
Victor, what you're saying would exist in utopia.
Yeah.
Let's be very honest. It exists in utopia. When boy meets girl or girl meets boy, the first thing is,
Girl falls in love.
Anaka fine. Does he look fine? Is he handsome?
Well, that's obvious.
Boy still goes like, hey, ude manaka kitu. We rarely have time to have the conversations that matter. And we need to distinguish between dating and courtship. Courtship is when you have already moved from the dating scene and you have focused that this is the person
exclusively
I want to see, and I want to spend the rest of my life with them. Now that's that. But there's a lot of 20 pizza, 20 drinks, 4x4 challenge, 20 year, 20 tukenda. Yani, people are busy sampling each other. Unfortunately, I'm using the word sampling. Yes, people are still doing tries X, Y, Z. People, a majority of us who are dating or we have not decided that this is a person I want to be with the rest of the.
Unakumbuka ile swali tukaambiwa uoe ule mtu una date sahi. Utasema ndio?
Sasa unaniuliza wacha nimalize kwanza before we actually close up.
It's exactly what you're saying.
That is
Regina.
it.
Like dating, squeezy, so many people are just wasting each other's time.
Yeah, you're wasting each other's time, and unfortunately,
4, 5, 6, 7, even 10
you
years.
never recover that time. And unfortunately, you'll find these samplers are sampling each other. One of them has actually invested emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, that they know that this is the person I want to be with. Unfortunately, you have that coffee date and they tell you, know what, so and so,
I'm not
it's
ready
not
for a
you.
relationship.
Actually, they go, it's not you,
it's me.
It is me.
Yes, it's you.
And that is BS, if you ask me. That is BS. Don't waste another person's time simply because you have not acknowledged and actualized that this is a person you want to be with. Actually, go for that, meet up with them. In an instant, it actually says, I saw some research saying that in the first like 45 seconds, a woman knows that this is a person I can have a conversation with. So because we can tell it on the get-go. Tell the guy, Mwambie, by the way, thank you very much for coffee. Can we do that? We pay half. But my friend, I don't want to waste.
What is it?
I don't want to waste your time. This can't work. Unfortunately, Kina Victor, when
Regina,
you tell them no,
Victor,
we can tell you a story.
Roger, you pay 50-50 on the first date.
Yes.
No, people are going.
Yes.
Regina, the same way.
Even if we were going somewhere,
it just
Doreen,
appears so good on paper the way you're putting it. 50-50.
Yes.
Ladies.
All right.
It depends on who you're dating at the end of the day.
Okay.
I pull my weight, you pull your weight, we move together. Simple.
And life goes on.
Anyway, tell the person you're with if this is something long-term, short-term, or you're doing tries X.
Medium-term goals.
Yes, sema uko wapi. Then after that, let them make a decision. Do they want to have short-term with you? Do they want to play those games with you? Or do they want you to go the long haul? Then you all agree on the same page. But when it comes to this bill, Jane, I have two questions. What implications will this proposed bill have on the Children's Act Cap 39 that says that the child needs to benefit from both the mother and the father?
The changes are being made on Article 53.
Yes, but it will also affect Cap 39, where the child
50-50.
Yes, the child should benefit from both the mother and the father. And in this cap, the mother, father is not ordered or founded on DNA. Second question. Right now, we've seen the statistics and the survey that the number of single parents out there are many. Men, women. What happens when this single parent, male or female, gets into another relationship? This is a long-term relationship. They have decided, you know what, I had a nasty relationship, I want to go on further. What happens to this new partner who comes into this life of this single parent?
This is a debate.
Will they take up the responsibility of the child that their partner has come on with? Or in that household, itakuwa tuko na watoto wawili. Moja ni wako, huyo mwingine ni wetu. So there are so many implications on this proposal. So we'll be keeping tabs.
And
so there's
as
so many
we bring
questions.
it to a close, let's not even get started with teen pregnancies and situations where the father of the daughter is also the father of the daughter's child.
Okay. Well, okay, ladies, just before we go on a break, today is Thursday. What's your favorite TBT? Doreen?
What's my favorite?
Just to neutralize the
Song-wise.
No. Your TBT?
What's my favorite what?
What can you remember? TBT?
Throwback.
TBT, yes, throwback.
In terms of what?
Everything.
It's my favorite throwback.
Itakuwa tricky.
I know, right? In terms of what? I can't quite think about it.
Throwback to giving birth. My son just turned 15 months.
Me, that ain't a TBT. The labor ward is not a TBT for me whatsoever. However, I have a TBT. The day that I successfully stole sugar, and I got away with it. My brother wasn't there to tell on me.
Sugar.
Sukari ilikuwa muhimu. You know those cubes. I don't know if you guys grew up that time wakati kulikuwa na cube ya sukari.
Cube.
Yeah, sukari ilikuwa na cube. Unachukua ka cube unaweka.
Regina.
Yeah.
Sukari.
Come on.
Hiyo yenye watu wanatoliu. Yeah, I still take sugar.
Sukari.
Napenda sukari. Na sio sukari ya Jane.
You still lick sugar?
We take a break. We'll be back to continue with Good Morning Kenya. Do continue keeping us company. Sukari. Sugar.